Saudi Arabia. Just hearing the name makes you think of certain things, doesn't it? Huge deserts, tall skyscrapers, a place full of history and traditions. Well, let me tell you, it's all that and more. From the moment I got off the plane, I was hooked. There was this energy in the air, a feeling of excitement. This is a country that's moving forward, embracing the future but still remembering its past. My trip started in Jeddah, a busy city on the Red Sea. The air smelled like spices, and you could hear the calls to prayer everywhere. The old part of the city, with its houses made of coral, felt like it was whispering stories of old trade routes and desert travelers. I walked through the markets, completely amazed by all the sights, sounds, and smells. But Jeddah is also a city that's looking ahead. Modern buildings rose up from the desert like shiny illusions. Everywhere I looked, I could sense progress, like the country was changing right before my eyes. I couldn't wait to see more, to really experience the heart of this amazing place. Jeddah is a city of two worlds, old markets and shiny new skyscrapers. The calls to prayer mixing with the sounds of kids playing. It's a place where the past and present come together, creating a feeling you can't find anywhere else. I started my day in Al Balad, the historic center of Jeddah. This place is so special, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a maze of narrow streets and tall buildings made of coral. The architecture is beautiful, showing how important trade was to the city in the past. I wandered through the markets, amazed by all the things for sale. Spices, perfumes, fabrics, you name it. In the afternoon, I went to the Corniche, Jeddah's beautiful waterfront. The Red Sea shimmered under the sun, and families walked along the promenade, enjoying the cool breeze. Modern sculptures lined the walkway, showing how much Jeddah loves art. The mix of old and new was surprising, but it just worked. As the sun started to set, I found myself at the floating mosque, its white towers glowing in the golden light. The sound of the waves crashing against the shore was so peaceful. Jeddah had surprised me. It was a city full of beauty and hidden treasures, a place where I could have easily spent weeks exploring. Leaving the excitement of Jeddah behind, I traveled north into the desert to a place called Madâin Sâlih. This ancient city, carved into the cliffs, used to be a busy center for the Nabatean people. Now it's a quiet reminder of their skill and artistry. Walking among the tombs, their walls decorated with intricate carvings, I felt a sense of wonder. These structures, some over 2,000 years old, have survived so much, their beauty untouched by time. The silence of the desert made it feel like I had traveled back in time. Exploring the ruins reminded me of Petra, the Nabateans' more famous city in Jordan. But Madâin Sâlih felt different, more mysterious and isolated, both haunting and beautiful. It was amazing to walk in the footsteps of this ancient civilization, to feel the weight of history all around me. As the sun went down, casting long shadows across the sand, I took a moment to think about what I had seen. Madâin Sâlih was a powerful place, a reminder that even the greatest civilizations eventually fade away. From the quiet desert of Madâin Sâlih, I traveled to Medina, the second holiest city in Islam. The air here felt different, full of peace and reverence. For Muslims, Medina is incredibly important, home to the Prophet's mosque and the final resting place of the Prophet Muhammad. Even though I'm not Muslim, I could feel the strong sense of devotion around me. The Prophet's mosque, with its huge courtyard and famous green dome, was an amazing sight. I watched as people from all over the world came to pray, their faces full of peace and connection. Beyond the mosque, Medina was a city of contrasts. Modern buildings stood next to ancient mosques, and the streets were alive with activity, with pilgrims, locals, and shopkeepers going about their day. I walked through the markets, smelling the incense and spices in the air. As I explored Medina, I was touched by how kind and generous everyone was. Even though we didn't speak the same language, their smiles were warm and welcoming. Medina touched my heart. It was a place where I felt a deep sense of peace. My journey through Saudi Arabia continued to Riyadh, the busy capital city. Riyadh is a city that shows how much the country is changing. Huge skyscrapers reach for the clouds, a sign of Saudi Arabia's wealth. But beneath this modern exterior, the city's history and traditions are still strong. I started my exploration at the Mazmak Fortress, an old mud brick fort that was important in uniting Saudi Arabia. Standing inside its walls, I could almost hear the echoes of the past, the sounds of battles and victories. From the historical heart of the city, I went to the modern metropolis. The Kingdom Center Tower, with its unique inverted arch, dominated the skyline. I rode the elevator to the sky bridge, amazed by the view of the city below. The contrast between the old and the new was striking, yet they seemed to fit together. Riyadh was a city full of energy, a place where tradition and progress worked together. I strolled through the busy souks, their narrow alleyways a feast for the senses. I ate in traditional restaurants, enjoying the delicious flavors of Saudi food. Riyadh had it all: history, culture, modernity, and a feeling of ambition. You can't visit Saudi Arabia without trying the amazing food. From the bustling markets of Jeddah to the traditional kitchens of Riyadh, Saudi cuisine is all about flavor, aroma, and hospitality. It's a cuisine that reflects the country's diverse geography and rich cultural heritage. One of my favorite meals was a simple but delicious dish called kabsa. This fragrant rice dish, cooked with tender lamb or chicken, is considered the national dish of Saudi Arabia. The blend of spices, like cardamom, cloves, and cinnamon, created such a wonderful mix of flavors. Another culinary highlight was the incredible variety of dates. Saudi Arabia is famous for its dates, and I got to try so many different kinds, each with its own unique taste. From the sweet and chewy medjool dates to the lighter and more delicate succory dates, it was a date lover's dream. But more than just the individual dishes, what struck me most about Saudi cuisine was the warmth and generosity with which it was shared. Meals were a time for families and friends to come together and connect. Food wasn't just about eating, it was a way of showing love, hospitality, and tradition. Throughout my trip through Saudi Arabia, one thing that never ceased to amaze me was the kindness and generosity of the Saudi people. From the moment I arrived, I was welcomed with open arms and treated with incredible kindness. Hospitality is a huge part of Saudi culture. It's not just about being polite, it's a way of life. Whether I was having a cup of Arabic coffee with a shopkeeper in Jeddah or enjoying dinner with a family in Riyadh, I always felt welcome and respected. I remember one time in Medina, I got lost trying to find my hotel. A kind stranger saw that I was confused, and even though we didn't speak the same language, he understood I needed help. He insisted on walking me back to my hotel, even though it wasn't on his way. This act of kindness, which happened a lot during my trip, really touched me. It reminded me that beyond the news and stereotypes, we're all connected by our humanity. Saudi Arabia is entering a new era. With the ambitious Vision 2030 plan, the country is changing in amazing ways. They're aiming to strengthen their economy, empower their citizens, and become a world leader in innovation and sustainability. Everywhere I looked, I saw this vision becoming a reality. From the futuristic city of Neom, being built from scratch as a model of sustainable living, to the growing tech scene in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia is embracing the future. One of the most exciting parts of Vision 2030 is that the country is opening up to tourism. For many years, Saudi Arabia was closed off to the rest of the world. But now, with tourist visas, the kingdom is excited to share its treasures with everyone. This is a country with so much to offer: ancient history, stunning landscapes, vibrant culture, and warm hospitality. I have no doubt that Saudi Arabia will soon be one of the most exciting and popular tourist destinations in the world. As my trip through Saudi Arabia came to an end, I felt so grateful. This journey had opened my eyes, challenged my assumptions, and left me with a deep appreciation for the kingdom's rich culture, beautiful landscapes, and warm hospitality. From the ancient deserts of Madâin Sâlih to the modern city of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia is a country of contrasts, where tradition and progress blend together in a fascinating way. It's a land of ancient stories and modern dreams, a place that has touched my heart. As I got on the plane, I knew I would be back. Saudi Arabia, with its mystery and potential, had captured my heart. I, for one, can't wait to see what the future holds for this extraordinary kingdom.